Hello, everybody. Welcome to the night. Welcome to the Mikestand. All right. Well, excuse me for one quick moment. I'll be right back. Just gotta go ahead. Just gotta put a towel up over my window here. Apparently, it is a little too bright here. Be right back. But I will put some music on while I'm gone. And then when I get back, I'll tell you what's going on for tonight's episode of the Mikestand. So, right. Alrighty then. So. Anyways, we'll wait a few minutes to give people a chance to get in here. Um, I do thank you for the like and the share there. Um, Hopefully we can get some more people in here. Yeah, one here. All right. How rich can you get? You're never gonna know till you met. This young boy, Richie Rich is his name. His bank account is as rich as his name. Bank account is as rich as his name. That's rich. Richie Rich. It's a Richie Rich show. Let's see. Get along, gang, get along, gang. Each one is special in his own way. Coming about the get along, gang, get along, gang. Get up with the get along, gang. Everyone is okay. Get up with the get along, gang. And get up. Scooby Dooby Doo, looking for you. Scooby Dooby Doo, where are ya? All the stars are here. waiting for you. Couldn't have a show without you. Scooby, Scooby Doo. Hey Scooby, where are you? Over here. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Anyway, I'm gonna go off camera one more time here for a moment. I'll be right back. I actually get past 6 minute mark here, so. There we go, that's better. All right then. So, anyway, let's see where are we at in time here. So we're almost at the 8 minute mark. So I guess I'll go ahead and tell you guys what's up for tonight. So tonight we're going over 12 articles, 7 anime related, 5 comics related. A lot of it's like profile pieces. Let's see. Um, the release date, I believe, is being announced for Bleach Thousand Year Arc movie. That's one of we're going to have some profile pieces, including on Shonen Trope, Renry Rockbell, One Piece, and a girlfriend, Uncle from Another World. Manta Comics is coming out with something for anime side of things. On the comic side of things, we have some information from Marvel Comics. DC is going to be celebrating Stan Lee's 100th birthday, apparently. Uh, some stuff coming out from Viking Books, Jason Howden, and Cullum, the Wrestling Roundup, as well as this day in each history. So, with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started? Hello, welcome to the stream, third person. Um, anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started right now. We have people in here. I'm just looking check here. All right. So, anyways, the first article we're going to cover tonight is this one here. Bleach Thousand Year Blood War gets new trailer, confirms official premiere date. Article by Nerdy Gans Inc. published yesterday. So, anime manga. The Bankai, the Bankai is now more real than ever for Bleach fans. Um, thanks to a new trailer for the series' upcoming Thousand Year Blood War arc, unveiling both a few familiar faces and an official premiere date. I think this is the last arc of the series. It's kind of getting around to showing this. Released on September 11th, which was, I believe, this past Sunday, the trailer for the official continuation of the series 2017 anime kicks off with Gotai 12 captain, division captain, watching a series of monitors. Well, I believe that may have been my Yuri, I believe, Captain Kurokichi, um, research. I think the 12th division is the research. Watching a series of monitors and intently taking note of the fact that a staggering number of hollows are rapidly and quite brutally um, disappearing across Japan. Worried that these slayings will weaken the barrier between the spirit and material world to the point of collapse, Mayuri's terrified third seat asks his CO, his commanding officer, if he has any idea what's going on. To which the captain simply gravely replies, quote, to be capable of erasing the very existence of hollows, they are the only ones, unquote. Quote, they, unquote, as the trailer soon reveals, are the Quincy Army, with their enslaved Arankars in tow, as led by the Quincy King, uh, Ewok, whose voice in Japanese voice is um, Takayuki Hugo, who portrays Iwao Hazuki in Mui, the animation. Shown next is poor Yuki Ryunosuke, who's voiced by Daiki Yamashita, who is part from Tokyo Mew, a new Shinigami recruit who happens to find himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, when he is soon beset by a number of crazed and decently CG animated hollows. Oh boy. Yet, just as all hope seems lost for the rookie, our heroes, our hero, okay, so there's a little typo there. Ichigo Kurosaki, um, who's voiced in Japanese by Masakazu Morita, who voices Reeds in the Dragon Ball series. In English, of course, he's voiced by Johnny Youngbox. Orihime Inoue, who's in Japanese, voiced by Yuki Matsuoka, Kagura, and Senran Kagura. The English voice of Orihime Stephanie Shea. Uh, Yatsutora Sato, who in Chad, at least sometimes known, who's voiced in Japanese by Hiroki Yasumo, who's Guile in Street Fighter. In English, of course, he's voiced by Jameson Price. And Uru Ishida, like Quincy himself, who is voiced in Japanese by Noriaki Sugiyama, who voices Shiro Emiya in Fate Stay Night, arrived to say today. And of course, Uru is voiced in English by Jeff Stevens. At least that's what Studiopolis and Zoom did. I don't know if that's been updated or not. But with that being said, of course, um, we continue and as always, guys, of course, if anything catches your interest here, feel free to comment or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions best I can. So excitingly, this board match between the Soul Society and the Hollows has not come has not only been confirmed to appear in the first episode, but the first of the many extended and never before seen fight scenes that series creator Tide Kubo promised for the series back at Anime Expo. There's a scene right there with, so from left to right there, it's Uru Ishida. Up front there is, of course, um, Ichigo Kurosaki. Behind him is Orihime Inoue, and then Chad Sato are right there. The trailer then moves to present a montage of the series cast members, which most notably include flashes of Rangitsu Matsumoto, presumably voiced by a regular voice actress Kaya Matsuntani, Yoshie Matsuda, Digimon Tamers. Of course, in English, she's voiced by Megan Hollingshead. Ivan as the Haro, who I don't know who voices him. Um, who's voiced by, in English, I don't know the voice who voices him in English. But in Japanese, he's voiced by Wataru Hamada, who voices Chris Corin in the Idol Master, and Sten Ritter member Q uh, Eagle Opie, who is voiced in Japanese by Koichi Yamadera, who voices Beerus in the Dragon Ball series. Eventually, the trailer finds Uru attempting to pry from his father the ex-Quincy Ryukin Ishida information regarding Quincy's plans. Chastised by his son for acting like he knows everything, though he likely does considering his status, Ryukin claims to Uru that the Quincy's are abducting Hollows. Kidnapping Hollows, huh? I wonder what that's all about. However, he concludes by telling Uru that the situation has nothing to do with him. In doing so, both protecting him from Ewok while simultaneously foreshadowing his betrayal of the Quincy. In parentheses here, hopefully this extra scene is a sign that we'll get to see extended interactions between Ryukin and Ichigo's father, Ishin Kurosaki. Building itself to its climax, the trailer then finds Yamamoto Genryusai, basically the head captain of the series here, voiced by Bin Takaoka, who voices Hashin Louis in Shamui, the animation. And Genryusai, let's see, I believe he would, I don't know if he'd still be voicing him because I don't know if he's still alive, but back in the 2000s when the series was still on, he was voiced by, I believe it was Bob Joel. But I don't know if Bob Joel is still alive or not. If he is, he'll likely be the English voice again. If not, if he's retired or passed on, then they'll probably have somebody else. Holding a meeting with the rest of the captains of the Gotei 13, and telling them of the new uh, Yowok threat. With his most loyal soldiers at the ready, Genryusai then gives the word and declares war upon the enemy. At the same time, the Yowok himself is seen hovering over Society's center as his forces begin to launch their attack on the afterlife. Wow. Following a quick look at the aforementioned Heroes vs. Hollows battle, quote unquote, the trailer comes to an end on a shot of Ichigo launching his signature Zanpakuto Getsuga Tensho. Bleach Thousand Year Blood War will run across four cores, quote unquote. Meaning, I believe, meaning cores, meaning like chapters or breaks. An airing schedule which sees 12 to 13 episodes of a respective series released in batches alongside the year's regular seasonal anime schedules beginning on October 10th. October 10th, which would be the Monday after my birthday. In addition, a synopsis for the first episode released through Bleach's official website explains of the story. Quote, it is observed that emptiness is disappearing one after another in this world. The Soul Society and Technologically Development Bureau are in an uproar. There's Rangiku right there. But they did something a little different with her hair. But, well, meanwhile, in Karakura Town, the newly appointed Shinigami, Ryunosuke Yumiki and Shino Madarame, um, encounter the imaginary as soon as they arrive. Unquote. It continued. So it was Ichigo Kurosaki and his companion helped the two who were helpless in a sudden attack. Unquote. So 2 days later, a man wearing a mask appears in front of Ichigo and the others who are interacting with Ryunosuke, who has regained consciousness. Unquote. Synopsis concludes. On the other hand, strange things are happening in Soul Society. In regard to a simulcast, the Diz Media, after a period of terse speculation, has confirmed via their official Twitter that they will indeed provide one. One they will provide one for Bleach Thousand Year Blood War. So I'm guessing. Okay, in regards to so they will be broadcasting part of they will be broadcasting part of it, providing the English part as well to Studiopolis. Um, though the publisher did not provide any further details regarding this release schedule, it's likely rather that further information will be revealed at the upcoming Aniplex online festival on September 24th, which would be a week from this Saturday, or alongside the series' New York Comic Con premiere on October 6th, the day before month. And here's, I guess, showing of it from their Twitter account there. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so there we go with that one. That's the only article from Bounding into Comics that we're covering tonight. The rest of the material we're going to be covering is going to be from CBR. We're going to go through the anime stuff first, since we're starting out with anime tonight. All right, so this is our first piece tonight that we're going to do. Bit of a profile piece, as I said. All right. So, anyways, with that, let's continue on with the articles then. Three shonen tropes fans actually like and why they are successful. While some tropes are quickly have become quickly fan fan favorites, and others have remained more infamous, they become a core part of what makes shonen so great. Article by Courtney McClure, published 14 hours ago. We got Naruto at the front there. We got Edward, and you got the Elric, father and son, Hohenheim at the far right there, surrounded by his son Edward and Alphonse. Have characters from My Hero Academia right there. Got Deku, uh, Bakugo, and who that Urahara. But when fans talk about shonen anime, they tend to focus on the negative, discussing infamous tropes that are heavily disliked. One common shonen trope is the classic stereotypical annoying protagonist. That's a difficult one to determine, because whether a character is annoying or not depends on the fan's preferences. And, um, yeah, it depends upon what you perceive as annoying. While discussing tropes that are heavily disliked is completely valid, incredibly important when looking into the history of shonen anime, there are many tropes that have the opposite reputation. Here are three excellent shonen tropes fans enjoy and why they work. Power of friendship. Now you see right there, you see I look like Edward right there. You scene from um maybe battling himself and Full Metal Alchemist right there. So the power of friendship is a commonly used trope seen in anime, Western cartoons, and other forms of media. This specific trope is probably well known and recognized by anime fans because it's super common in shonen anime. Specifically, the power of friendship remains one of shonen anime's most successful tropes for many reasons. One of the most likely reasons is many people resonate with stories about friendship and want to believe in the power of love and friendship themselves. Yeah, we see this in a number. I mean, see it. They show Full Metal Alchemist here, but you see it also in like Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, where the protagonist is always looking to protect his friends and their friends and family. Yusuke, he draws a lot of his power from trying to protect his friends. You know, um, Goku's kind of the same way. You know, and Gohan usually doesn't drop. He gets his greatest strength when he's protecting somebody. So yeah, you do see it a lot. The power of friendship trope. Let's see. Oh, also Naruto. Naruto's another example where you know where Naruto um, gains a lot of his friends' respect as they watch how he grows and how so the power of friendship and his strong desire to become a Hokage, which eventually does because he wants to protect his friends, he wants to protect his village. The power of friendship trope can also help people escape their own feelings of loneliness, especially if they are a child or young teen. While watching anime, it's a substitute for real life friendship. And I can argue I can see that. I've watched enough. It may help the fan feel more comfortable with themselves because kids and young teens are usually impressionable. Hmm. And this doesn't just work with shonen anime, but it works with a lot of anime too. I'd say there are aspects of harem anime and reverse harem anime that are kind of the same way, that do kind of draw upon this right here, where with the power of friendship, power, it's not just simply the power of friend. I would take it one step further. In fact, a lot of this isn't just simply the power of friendship. I think ultimately it's the power of connection. It's power of connecting with your peers, connecting with those around you. You know, of developing those personal connections. And sometimes, especially in the real world, if you have a more of a difficult time doing that, oftentimes, um, anime, you know, anime, cartoons, comics, manga, they can provide kind of that sense of escape to where to where you can make those connect. Granted, it's always better to make connections with real people, but let's see, where are we? Oh yeah, whether they want to believe it or not, the power of friendship remains a popular, powerful, and well-loved trope to this day, as it creates a meaningful message for fans of the narrative and its characters. The message surrounding this trope is easy to follow. Being surrounded by friends gives people, usually the protagonist, gains the power to do anything. And again, we've seen this in a number. I've given a number of examples. Here. You see your initiative. He is at his strongest when he's protecting his friend, protecting those characters. Naruto Uzumaki and Naruto. He's at his best again when he's protecting himself. Protecting his mom. You know, even Ichigo Kurosaki, the senior sensei, are like dealing with the wrong cars and hollows. Yeah. So continuing on with the power is a manifestation of the group's friendship. And true friendship can be stronger than romantic love. Well, yeah, I mean, you even see some of this, even as I said, in some of the harem animes too. You know, even though the harem animes are more romance driven, obviously, but a lot of times the characters, even in harem animes, I know this article is not more specifically shown in it, where kind of action adventure animes are directed more towards boys. Um, but the relationships that develop in those, traditionally and harem um, reverse and again, people make connections. Right? Maybe making connections with fantasy, but still nonetheless making connections. The power is a manifestation of the group friendship. It provides friendship. Okay, so you read that part. Usually, this power is enough to allow the main character to defeat the antagonist or villain at the very end of the series. Since the character's power comes from the source of friendship, the friend doesn't have to be someone they have known forever or have been friends with since the beginning of the story. Sometimes a friendship comes out of a redemption arc from the villain who the main group or character can safely call a friend. And of course, what they're talking about there, that that ha- That happens in both Dragon Ball and Yu Hakusho. Yu Hakusho, during the Dark Tournament, Yusuke, as he would fight through the tournament, would gain new friends and allies from the demons like Koya, Chu, um, Jin, Suzuki, and then you would see it also, in Dragon Ball that, Vegeta, you know, would eventually kind of, he started out as a bad guy, he was one of the strongest fighters, fight. So you see that a lot there. Um, a great example of the power of friendship shown in shonen anime is the final fight scene between Father and Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist. Everyone cheers Ed on, and it gains him the power to finally defeat his greatest enemy. Mm-hmm. Tournament arcs, and we see a lot of it. And here's from the Naruto series in a fight from the tuning exams between Gara of the Sand and Rock Lee right there. Tournament arcs in shonen anime are a well-known and easily loved trope for a few reasons. As always, guys, of course, feel free to comment or ask questions as we're going through these articles. So, a tournament arc gives fans something to focus on for a long period of time without the plot repeatedly changing. During a tournament arc, fans are unlikely to forget what is happening in the story, even if they're watching the anime on a weekly basis. Tournament arcs usually feature excellent new characters and introduce powers the audience has never seen before. This can create um, excitement among fans and give people um, something new to talk about, hype up the anime, which is true. And we've seen a number of these. The picture they showed there is from the first tuning exams in the Naruto series. I made references to the Dark Tournament saga, in Yu Hakusho. They also had the Demon World tournament as well, to further their point. You know, Dragon Ball, pretty much a lot of their plots are driven by tournaments, including the Ultimate Survival arc of Dragon Ball Super. You know, so, of course, you have a lot of martial art um, animes as well, and also draw upon and even sports anime, like some sports animes, like Haikyuu. Haikyuu is another a sports anime where you see a lot of this stuff happening too. You know, as the common thread is around volleyball and people trying to get better at volleyball. Dear Boys is another one about a faculty that almost ceases to exist because a lot of the players put out their attention. There was a few moving players like Simon. Um, One of the most identifiable tournament arcs is the tuning exam from the original Naruto series. For those who haven't experienced the tuning exam, The premise of the exams themselves is simple. Exams give genin opportunity to prove themselves and get promoted to a higher ninja rank. Now, as a genin, you're a beginning ninja, so you're usually under the supervision of a jonin leader, or senior ninja, um, and you're usually, go out on missions together where a lot of it gets changed. You usually get lower ranked missions, like sometimes doing simple chores, sometimes maybe providing a guard against hiring. Um, Tuning is what they call journeyman ninja, or somebody who's capable of like teaching other ninja. They can lead platoons and stuff like that, or lead smaller lead units. Um, uh, the exams itself differs from one state to the next. Competing beginnings can't prepare themselves beforehand. The tuning exams are open to all villages and are held twice a year. All villages take turns hosting the exams. In Naruto, the exam is hosted in the Hidden Miso. That was the first tuning exam. Of course, Shippuden would have an arc, in Naruto's footsteps where they won't go back and show the after the first tuning exam. Of course, Shikamaru of the Leaf 11 was the only one who became a Chunin. So, and with Sasuke taking off and Naruto off training with Jiraiya, did lead some interesting combinations. So, there are a number of memorable moments that happened during the Chunin exam arc in Naruto, in the first Chunin exam arc. Some of the most unforgettable fights include Ino versus Sakura, Shikamaru versus Tamari, Hinata versus Neji. Now, some of the key characters driving these would be Ino and Sakura, of course, are friends slash rivals. Uh, Ino tried to help Sakura come out of her shell a bit more, and then felt betrayed when Sakura acknowledged that she liked Sakura, kind of, and then that led to more of a bitter rivalry between them. And, Shikamaru versus Tamari. Um, Shikamaru being a little older than Shikamaru, of course. But the thing is, Shikamaru being a teen, kind of the back and forth mentally in their just kind of the, you know, they may not have, they may, now Tamari being, wind user, able to use her fan and also someone Kamakari, um, using her wind-based jutsu to overpower opponents. But Shikamaru using his mind to beat his opponent. And of course, Hinata versus Neji, in which, Hinata just trying to prove herself, and Neji trying to get out of that whole mode of, our fate destiny is not used to fight against the fate kind of attitude that Naruto showed him was the wrong mindset to have. Anyway, it's going to get a little dim here, so I think we need to make some lighting adjustments. So, be right back. All right, so I'm going to turn on the music here while I step away for a moment. All right. So, anyways, getting back to the article. Yeah, let me just check something else real quick here. Hmm. All right. So, anyways, getting back to the article here then. Let's see, where were we at here? Okay, yeah. However, the most famous fight scene in the tuning exam is the battle between Rock Lee and Gaara. This is likely one of the most popular and well-known fight scenes within the Naruto universe. It's extremely loved by fans, and many people who haven't watched or read the Naruto series have watched the fight scene between Gaara and Lee. At this point, both Gaara and Lee are rather mysterious in terms of their abilities and limitations. As we would come to find out throughout the series, Lee could only do taijutsu and would become a taijutsu master. And then Gaara at this point was still under the influence, as a Jinchuriki was still under the influence of the tailed beast that was within Shukaku, the sand Tanuki, um, which of course made him, he, like many Jinchuriki, he had a very torturous childhood, and that people feared that the tailed beast would, take over and destroy the village. This fight scene stands out for a few reasons, namely because it's the first time fans see Lee without his weight restraints on his legs. Yeah, those things he took off. Once the weights are off, Lee is shown to possess incredible speed and even makes a dent in Gaara's protective sand barrier. Um, Another aspect of the fight fans love is it's the first time Gaara seems vulnerable, and the fight allows him to show his real strength. He's shown to have a weakness, and even he has trouble keeping up with Lee's taijutsu. Mm-hmm. And a similar situation happened between, prior to the fights themselves between Lee and Sasuke as well. The simple-minded yet lovable protagonist, and we've seen a few of these, and they're showing Naruto. Naruto is one of them, and another one. I'd even say Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho is another one. Now, some people might argue whether or not Yusuke is actually lovable, but you can at least admire Yusuke because despite his reputation of being a delinquent, he does seem to have a very strong moral code that, about the idea of protecting the weak, protecting his friends. So, and Yusuke isn't necessarily considered the sharpest tool in the drawer all the time either, albeit he's, I think, smarter than Naruto here, but simple-minded and otherwise airheaded protagonist. Well, okay, Yusuke's not airheaded. Protagonists aren't for everyone. Some fans find them annoying and overrated, especially in shonen anime. However, there's something about a dim-witted yet lovable protagonist that many fans can't seem to get enough of. Yeah, and they are the type too that people really do want to get behind. Because they're not as off-putting. They're dim-witted. They may be a little dim-witted, maybe a little stupid, but their heart's in the right place. Their brains might not be that great, but their hearts are like usually hearts of gold. You know, so that does have an appeal for a lot of people. Even okay. Maybe some fans feel a kinship to these types of characters or want to be more like them because they tend to be likable people. Simple minded protagonists are usually charismatic in one way or another. Despite their typically irritating personality quirks, most people can't help but love him, which is true. I mean, Naruto eventually grew on his friends, right? Grew on his peers. With the exception of Hinata, all of his classmates did not care for Naruto too much. Now, granted, part of that was because their parents told them to stay away from him because, he's scary. They didn't go into specifics. But for the most part, everybody except for Hinata, really couldn't stand Naruto at the very beginning. Let's see. And part of that was because she found strength in aspiring to be like him. That despite all of his shortcomings, despite all of the challenges that were placed in front of him, being the Cherokee, having more or less almost the entire village basically shun him, he still managed to succeed on many levels and eventually did become Hokage. Another aspect of the simple-minded protagonists is that they are generally known as food lovers and can be very gluttonous. That's true too. Naruto's got a thing for ramen. Another shonen character I'm reminded of are the Mutsus from Shura no Toki, Age of Chaos. Now granted, they're very strong. They're not, and for the most part, none of them are dim-witted. But there is kind of a charm that they have to them, in their goals of trying to go out and become the great martial artist. Usually, these characters can be seen eating half their body weight some type of food, and this has become popular among fans as well. Great examples of this are Naruto Uzumaki from Naruto and Luffy from One Piece. And that's true. Luffy's a big meat eater. Like meat, 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 meat. Naruto is a classic example of this beloved trope. Naruto is very naive and simplistic, but he is also very lovable. Naruto is also a glutton and specifically loves eating ramen. And the only reason that Naruto doesn't look like Choji is because he's so hyper that he burns off a lot of those calories pretty quick. I think that's partly due also to the fact of the Nine Tails being in him too, because the Nine Tails really helps burn up not just a lot of his chakra, but a lot of his energy too. Burns up a lot of those calories. So that's kind of a thing too. Even if you aren't a Naruto fan, it's likely no news Naruto loves it. Though it's arguable Naruto, quote unquote, popularized the dish, maybe among Western. Okay, that's kind of a weird way of putting that, I guess, structuring that sentence there. Anyways, so that's it for that article. I think we spent quite a bit of time on that one, which I'm not totally surprised. Alrighty then, so we now prepare to move on to the next article here. Alright, so here's another profile piece. Here's why Winry Rockbell is one of the best characters in Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist is full of well-written, memorable characters. However, few measure up to Winry Rockbell, who remains one of the best even now. Now, Winry, of course, in Funimation dub is voiced by Caitlin Glass. Article by Courtney McClure, published 14 hours ago. There are many beloved characters in Hiromu Arakawa's Fullmetal Alchemist FMA franchise. Some of the most popular characters are the main characters, Edward and Alphonse Eric, Colonel Roy Mustang, and Ling Yao. Um, One thing that sets Fullmetal Alchemist apart from other well-loved shonen series is the way Arakawa treats her female characters with respect and doesn't sexualize them. Keep reading to find out why Winry Rockbell is one of the best characters Fullmetal Alchemist has to offer. Yeah, and that's kind of true too, because and many of the female characters are not like overly sexualized in Fullmetal Alchemist. You have not just Winry Rockbell there, but you also have, of course, um, Lisa Hawkeye, Izumi Curtis. Um, those are the two that come to mind there, and even Lust, even Lust, who is who could have been sexualized, but they just didn't take it that way. Anyway, Winry's personality makes her fun to watch. Winry has a great personality and is a very likable character, according to the majority of Fullmetal Alchemist fans. She isn't super unique, and her kindness is a trait fans often see in female leads throughout various shonen anime. Essentially, Winry doesn't stand out because of her personality alone. That doesn't mean her personality isn't an interesting asset to her character, and it does set her apart from other characters in the series. While some consider Winry a tsundere because she may have been in love with Ed from the very beginning, but it's highly debatable, and her quirks, overall personality, don't meet the qualities of a tsundere at all. Winry is not, quote, harsh on the outside and soft on the inside like a tsundere, and hitting Ed with a wrench when he breaks his automail was added to the series for comedic effect. And yeah, it's like, you dope. You idiot. Why are you breaking my work, for crying out loud? I work hard to keep you in shape, and this is the things I get, you dimwit. Ah, Winry is a stubborn yet kind person. Her stubbornness is shown often throughout Fullmetal Alchemist, especially when it comes to allowing Ed and Al to go their separate ways from her. Being stubborn isn't a unique trait, and it's quite common in real people and in fictional characters. What makes this trait unique for Winry is that although she may be stubborn and hard headed at times, she doesn't usually act selfishly. For example, when she travels to Rush Valley with Ed and Al, she convinces a local mechanic to take her on as his apprentice. Um, it, it's thanks to her stubborn trait that Winry refuses to back down, but that's also the reason she gets the job. Also, she wants to work as an apprentice so she can make better automail for Ed. This shows Winry's kindness and how she wants to better her mechanic skills so she can help her childhood friend even more. Mhm. If you compare Winry to someone like Riza Hawkeye, they have few similar traits. They have a few similar traits, but they also differ immensely. Riza Hawkeye, of course, in the Funimation dub is voiced by Colin Clinkenbeard. For example, both women are generally kind people, but kindness can only go so far, and it's not a very interesting personality trait to a lot of fans. And kindness is such a common characteristic, especially for female teen characters in anime. But that doesn't mean it's an overused or overrated quality. Winry shows her kindness many times throughout the series, even though she yells ahead a lot and becomes angry with him when he destroys his automail. It's only because she cares about him, which is true. I mean, it's like she's jumping down his throat because, hey, why you? What? Hey, how can you stay? How can you stay fit if you keep breaking your automail? Stop breaking my work. I want you healthy, boy. Now, Winry's character acts as a beacon for the Ulrich brothers. Look at that right. Now look at that scene right there. Winry isn't just important to Full Metal Alchemist because of her connection to the lead protagonist. She is more than that. But it's uh, disingenuous to deny her being their friend isn't one of the most important aspects of the story. Winry gives the boys a focal point, and when she still lives in Risenbowl with her grandma, she gives them a place to call home. Which that's something that everybody needs, right? You know, you need a home. Everybody needs a home. Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts are sleeping. Home, where my music's playing. Home, where silent, silently forming. Let's see. Um, Although Winry says a few times throughout the story, she's tired of waiting for the boys to come home, especially when she's unable to do anything to support them. She gives them hope by existing. Ed and Al may support each other because they're always together. Henry is the foundation of their support. She's the thing that keeps them together, other than their brotherly bond and the trio's childhood friendship. Since they face many complicated scenarios throughout Full FMA's story, it would be easy for Ed and Al to lose sight of their goal. But Winry's presence in the Elric brothers' lives keeps them grounded and gives them a focal point for their journey, reminding them why they are searching for the stone and why they want to get their original bodies back. Since Winry and Pinako, of course, is Winry's grandmother, voiced in the Funimation dub by Julie Erickson. They give Ed and Al two people worth fighting for, aside from the other friends and people they have met on their journey. The childhood friend trope fits Winry and the Elric brothers. You see the picture right there of the kids. Up front there, you have Winry right up front, and then on either side of her, you have Alphonse and Ed. You have Al and Ed, and then you have their mother behind Al right there, and you have Pinako behind Ed. Friendship is a core recurring theme throughout Full Metal Alchemist. And as we read, of course, in the previous article, it's a core aspect of a lot of anime, a lot of shonen anime in particular. For example, Panina started out as an enemy for Ed, or at least a very base level or petty antagonist. She stole Ed's pocket watch, and he would stop at nothing to get it back before she could pawn it off. Soon, Panina becomes their friend and ally. She could be considered more of a friend to Rinri than the brothers, though. And the thing is too is that Panina, if I remember correctly, is the one who I think she also had some auto mail, so that gives her and Winry another connection right there between those two. Ling and Lan Fan are great examples of this as well. They are more so allies of the trio and an actual close quote unquote friends. At least until the end of the series when Greed dies and mentions becoming friends with the main cast. Childhood friends aren't something new to the world of anime, especially in a shonen series like FMA. And of course, as we talked about in the previous article, that is a common trope right there. Whole power friendship aspect of it. But it is one of the major qualities of the series that makes the trio's relationship endearing for fans. Winry and the Elric brothers' relationship wasn't founded in a workplace environment, since they are all similar in age, with 1 year separating Ed and Winry from Alphonse. There isn't a weird power dynamic between them. Winry is also not just the boy's ally. The three of them grew up together and continue to grow alongside each other, both physically and metaphorically. Even when they are separated, Winry is one of the few characters who is explicitly stated as Ed and Al's friend. So it's a nice contrast to many of the other characters um, who come off as allies or acquaintances rather than stagnant friends. Doesn't have to be directly stated for fans to consider side characters friends of Ed and Al, but it would save fans from confusion because some relationships displayed throughout the series seem ambiguous. Mhm. Rinri is an excellent character in Full Metal Alchemist. She contributes new and refreshing ideas to the main and supporting cast. She's also one of the first characters shown in the series that isn't an alchemist. So she reminds the viewer not everyone in Full Metal Alchemist universe has special powers and can do alchemy or has an interest in alchemy. Oh, there you go with that one. So there's the next article here we'll get to. See if any. Hey Jason, what's your favorite shinpai? I don't know. I don't even know what you mean by a shinpai. One Piece artwork merges all 1,000 manga chapters into a megabook. French artist Ilan Manoach compiled all 21,450 pages of Eiichiro Oda's beloved One Piece manga into a massive but impractical mega volume. Oh boy. Article by Renee Senza Timor. It was 13 hours ago. There's Luffy with some fiery fists there. An artist compiled all 21,450 pages of Ichiro Oda's beloved One Piece manga into a single massive mega volume. As detailed on Kotaku, this book was created by Elon um, Manoa, a creative that specializes in work that comments on the post-digital commentary. Um, the entire book, named One Piece, all one word there, um, is well over 3 feet long and weighs a whopping 38 pounds. Okay. Um, Making it virtually impossible to lay on a table and read. I would be kind of wondering about that. Uh, Sounds like it's something that it would be hard to pick up to begin with. Let's see. According to a Google translation of Manoak's website, quote, One Piece can only be contemplated as a materialization of digital comics, very own saturated digital ecosystem. Quote, in quote, One Piece exists only as the object of pure speculation. When One Piece, quote unquote, is not designed to be read, while One Piece is not designed to be read, the entire length of the book is encased in a colorful collage of classic moments from One Piece manga. Manoa put the work on display for public viewing at the Fininco Foundation. Okay, so I get what you did then. You basically took every single volume of One Piece and just mashed it up into one huge book, to where you had the entire series in one huge book. Yeah, that would be hard to go through and read. Be hard to pick up. Um, in Paris, France, during the multiple art days fair, but it was also made available to purchase from JBE Books, the French publisher that backed the project. It was listed on JBE Books website for €1,000, approximately $1,976 at the time of writing. The project was produced in limited numbers, and the work is currently sold out. In addition to artistic pursuits, Manoak is also known for their work on ShapeReader, a touchable and visual storytelling system designed to help those with visual disabilities. According to a description of the project on Manoak's website, ShapeSpreader transposes semantic cognition to the reader's fingertips, providing haptic, touchable equivalents for all semantic features of comics narrative. The One Piece franchise recently saw the release of its 15th movie, which we talked about yesterday, of course, One Piece Film Red, which hit theaters in Japan on August 6th. The film's plot revolves around a world-famous diva named Uta, who also happens to be the daughter of red-haired Shanks. a pirate who inspired Luffy to set out on his journey. Red is currently Japan's highest grossing film of 2022 and the eighth highest grossing anime film in Japanese history. It will launch in theaters across North America on November 4th, a day after it launches in Australia and New Zealand on November 3rd. While One Piece is not the ideal means of enjoying the Luffy story, the manga is available in English from Viz Media. The anime can be found on multiple streaming platforms, including Hulu, Crunchyroll, and Netflix. So there we go with that one. Huh. So, okay. Alright, let's see. So as we get ready to move on to the next article here. That was 3. 3 more to get through here. Okay, now this is one we were kind of talking about yesterday a little bit, trying to figure out what it. So where Rent a Girlfriend falls short as an anime series. So I think I'd do this one. At least it should give us some idea of what Rent a Girlfriend is. We did talk about it yesterday, but Rick and I and a few others never watched it. So with the more divisive second season of Rent a Girlfriend's coming to an end, how does the show hold up as a rom-com anime series? Rom-com, aka romantic comedy. Article by James Hurtado, published 13 hours ago. Oh. Never mind. This one has spoilers, so we won't do this one after all then. I didn't know it had spoilers, so I thought it was going to be another just simple profile piece. But we don't do spoilers here, so moving on to the next one. Uncle from Another World anime returning from hiatus. Let me just make sure that okay, no signs of saying spoiler warning. Okay, so Uncle from Another World anime returning from hiatus. While the isekai anime Uncle from Another World is returning from hiatus with brand new episodes scheduled to air starting in November. Article by Renee Senzat Moore, published 11 hours ago. Netflix's isekai comedy series Uncle from Another World will soon return from its hiatus. As detailed in a report from J-List blog, production for the popular anime was delayed due to the worldwide coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. However, the anime staff has confirmed the series will begin airing on November 24th in Japan, leading up to the premiere of episode 8. The series' previous 7 episodes will be rebroadcast in the country starting on October 6th. COVID 19 also interfered with the premiere of episode 5, which suffered a 2 week delay from its scheduled August 3rd release date, after the anime's production staff tested positive for COVID 19. All right. Uncle from Another World was originally a manga created by Hodo, uh, Hotondo Shinderu, that began serialization on Katakawa's Comic Walker website in June 2018. The series revolves around the uncle of a boy named Takafumi Takaoka. After being hit by a truck, Takafumi's uncle winds up comatose for 17 years. However, he awakens one day claiming that he was transported to another world and served it as a heroic guardian. After discovering his uncle's story is true, Takafumi tries to adjust to his life with his uncle, who frequently uses his magical powers while trying to reintegrate into modern society. Interesting. Here. The series is being produced by Studio Atelier Pondark, a relatively new animation studio that was founded in 2020. Shigeki Kawai, who is known for his work on the Naruto franchise, is directing the series. Kenta Ihara, Vinland Saga, um, is in charge of both script and series composition. Yoshito Takamine um, is the series art director, and Kazuhiro Ota is designing the characters. Kenichiro Suehara is creating the music. Let's see. All right. Several well-known voice actors are lending their voices to the series' main characters. Jun Fukuyama, from Seven Deadly Sins and Code Geass, is playing Takafumi Takaoka. Takahito Koyasu, who stars as Shinsuke Takasugi in Gintama, is playing Uncle or Oji-san. Mikako Komatsu from Magia Record Guella Magai Madoka Magica Side Story is playing the role of Sumika Fujimiya, Takafumi's childhood friend and not so secret admirer. Mabel Ravelli, another guardian from the world Oji-san was transported to, played by Aoi Yuki, Seven Deadly Sins, My Hero Academia fame. Of course, these are the Japanese series voice actresses. Uncle from Another World is available to viewers outside of Japan via Netflix. The manga is available in English from Yen Press. There we go, that one. And here's the last anime article we're going to look at here. Right? Manta Comic announces season 2 of Disobey the Duke If You Dare. The premiere date of the second season of the popular medieval romance series Disobey the Duke, You Dare, has been revealed by Manta Comics. Article by Hilary Loom, published 9 hours ago. The romance webcomic Disobey the Duke If You Dare announced the premiere date for its second season. Manta Comics revealed that season 2 of Disobey the Duke If You Dare will premiere on October 2nd. The webcomic combines romance and mystery in a medieval setting and was created by Manta Comics in-house studio, making its debut in January 2022, so earlier this year. Since then, it has become one of the platform's most popular romance titles. Disobey the Duke If You Dare follows a young woman named Lily who gets married off by her father to her third husband, a mysterious duke named Vlad, rumored to be a warmonger and a hideous monster. However, when she meets the duke, she discovers that he's nothing like the rumors say. He's kind, gentle, and attentive. The only catch is that she is not allowed to see his face. As the two grow closer, tensions arise when Lily realizes she can't be happy in a marriage where she doesn't know what her husband looks like. Readers can get answers to the questions that emerged after season 1. The first season ended with Lily receiving horrific news that Vlad, after he left to fight in the war, um, about Vlad after he left to fight in the war. According to Manta Comics, fans will be able to find out season 2, quote, if Vlad ever returns safely from, in brackets, the war, after leaving Lily without a proper farewell, and see Lily grappling with her desire for a child with the Duke in the face of uncertainty about the relationship. Manta Comics debuted in North America in November 2020. Within 4 months of the platform's launch, it had become the top comics app in the US on the Google Play charts. As of April 2022, the app has been downloaded 5 million times. Webcomics platform is most well known for its romance and fantasy genres, with titles such as Semantic Error, Under the Oak Tree, Your Eternal Lies, The Forgotten Princess Just Wants Peace, The Accidental Heiress, and Duchess Crow. Meanwhile, recently, Manta Comics has tried to diversify its library and included other genres such as horror and mystery, including titles like chilling thriller Vaha, The Sixth Finger. Fans can read season 2 of Disobey the Duke, You Dare, on October 2nd. The first season can be read on Manta Comics, an app available on Android and iOS, where the second season will also be released. All right, so there we go with that one. We're done with all the anime stories. Now we'll get to the comic story, then I can step away from the. All right, so we'll get to that one in a moment. I've got to step off. I've got to go off camera for a moment, so I'll be right back. Welcome back. We're about to get all right. So with that, let's continue on with the articles and the comic articles. So Miles Morales finds new creative team and Spider-Punk Ziggler Vicentini. Marvel tapped Spider-Punk writer Cody Ziegler and artist Federico Vicentini take over on Miles Morales Spider-Man for the title's relaunch. Article by Jeremy Blum published 1 day ago. Marvel Comics Miles Morales Spider-Man is getting a relaunch from Spider-Punk scribe Cody Ziegler and superstar artist Federico Vicentini. Miles Morales, Spider-Man #1, is set to hit comic shops this December and sees Miles continuing his role as a Spider-Man of Brooklyn, dealing with typical teenager moments and confronting a mysterious foe who threatens all of his loved ones. According to Ziegler, who told The Root that he had been a fan of Miles immediately after purchasing the very first issue character starred in. Um, Chance to write Spider-Man was a dream. Quote, the idea that I'll be able to have that cover next to my cover is a weird, surreal, the weird, surreal 360 in life, unquote, Ziegler said. It's just a very wild place. I was forever grateful that my spiritual life let me be a kid that was in that type of stuff. A relaunch for Miles Morales. Ziegler, who posted um, preview images of the book on Twitter, showing Miles fighting Scorpion in his original outfit rather than the newer sweatsuit, um, added that he hoped to emphasize the street level nature of Miles' heroics. The writer explained that this was important considering the fact that Miles' recent adventures have seen him explore the multiverse. He added that giving Miles a older black mentor was also a priority, hence Misty Knight of the Daughters of the Dragon making an appearance in the series. Everybody's popped in. Oh. Quote, Peter has been there a lot for him, unquote, Ziegler said. Quote, I really wanted to pair him up with a black street level character. That's the story that that I want to tell because I'm a big fan of the apprenticeship and the mentorship. Misty Knight experiences a much different reality than Matt Murdock does or Peter Parker just by the fact of being a black woman. So um, I know that was an important thing to have in there, unquote. One final issue of Miles' current series, Miles Morales Spider-Man number 42, is set to hit comic shelves on Wednesday, September 28th. Penned by Saladin Ahmed, the oversized issue serves as a send-off for Ahmed's run on the character began in 2018. Shortly after, Miles had only recently arrived to Marvel's main 616 universe following Secret Wars event. Written by Cody Ziegler and illustrated by Federico Vincentini, Miles Morales Spider-Man number 1 goes on sale in December 2022 from Marvel Comics. So there we go with that one. All right. So, anyways, getting ready to move on to the next article here. This one's an exclusive, CBR exclusive. Exclusive! The Last Kids on Earth returns for a new spin-off series by Bralier and Pruitt. CBR can exclusively reveal The Last Kids on Earth is getting a new spin-off in The Last Comic on Earth from co-writers Max Bralier and Joshua Pruitt. Article by Brandon Schwer, published 13 hours ago. The Last Kids on Earth is returning for a new spin-off series, The Last Comics on Earth, from co-writers Max Bralier and Joshua Pruitt, and artists Jay Cooper and Douglas Holden. The Last Comics on Earth is the first of 4 graphic novels in a series of The Last Kid on Earth spin-offs. Published by Viking Books for young readers, Last Comics on Earth reintroduces readers to a number of fan-favorite characters they met throughout the course of the previous novels, video games, and Netflix animated series. Last Comics on Earth imagines what best buddies Jack, June, Quint, and Dirk would do after realizing, to their horror, that they've read every last issue of their favorite comic book series, Z-Man, Defender of Apocalyptia. The publisher said of the series, quote, the answer continue Z-Man's legacy by creating their own comic book series, starring themselves as superheroes. That's an interesting way to go about it. The creator's connection to Last Kids on Earth. Quote, I'm incredibly excited to be expanding the world of Last Kids on Earth and to do it with something that's very different from the main series, but still feels true to the characters in the world, unquote, Bralier said. Quote, The Last Comics on Earth is a goofy, silly, action-packed graphic novel adventure loaded with amazing art from Doug Holgate and Jay Cooper, and I hope kids have just as much fun reading it as Joshua and I had writing it, unquote. Pruitt added, quote, even before writing for the Netflix series, I was a fan of The Last Kids on Earth. And the world and characters Max and Doug had brought to life, getting to play in their monster and zombie-filled sandbox. Again, is an absolute dream come true. With the wild and wacky story Max and I put together, as realized by Doug and the force of nature that his fellow comic geek Jay Cooper, The Last Comics on Earth is a jam packed with outrageous adventure and big laughs for both new and die-hard Last Kids fans. Realized in a way that um, ginormous full only a ginormous full color graphic novel could deliver. Unquote. Liking books for young readers, executive director Dana Ladig brokered the deal for the title's rights. Quote, what's brilliant about The Last Comics on Earth isn't only its vibrant visuals and pacey plot, um, but that it can be enjoyed um, by readers of the original Last Kids series and newcomers alike, unquote, Leydig said. Quote, there are plenty of Easter eggs for existing fans to find, and the fun full color format has special appeal for younger middle grade readers. It works as both continuation of an entry point to the Last Kids universe. And we couldn't be more excited to launch it into our universe. The Last Comics on Earth publishes on February 28th, 2023. So there we go with that one. All right, so anyway, move on to the next one, which is right here. DC celebrates Stan Lee's 100th birthday with a massive special release. Stan Lee's unique take on the DC Universe, originally published 2 decades ago, so back in the 90s, I dig it, returns this December in a 96-page one-shot. And I wonder if this is maybe the Tangent Universe, the Amalgam Universe. Yes, we'll see. By Jeremy Blum, published 13 hours ago. Stan Lee's work on Just Imagine, a project where the Marvel forerunner redesigned DC heroes, okay, so that's some maybe different. Turns in December to honor what would have been the iconic creator's 100th birthday. Tales from Earth 6, celebration of Stan Lee, is a 96-page one-shot anthology featuring 10 stories starring Lee's interpretations of a wide variety of DC characters, including Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Sandman. Creators contributing to the anthology series include the Batman film producer Michael Ruslan, um, who worked on the original Just Imagine books, alongside Lee in 2001-2002, um, to design a new version of Shazam. Joining Uzlan is an impressive list of DC writers: Mark Waid, from Kingdom Come, Batman, Superman World's Finest; Jerry Ordway, Superman Action Comics; Kenny Porter, DC Mech; Stephanie Williams, Nubia and the Amazons, Trial of the Amazons; Michael W. Conrad and Becky Cloonan, Wonder Woman; Batgirls, Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, Batman Beyond, Neo Year; Megan Fitzmartin, Tim Drake Robin, Steve Orlando, Martian Manhunter, Zach Thompson, Batman Urban Legends, all pen stories for the anthology. Hmm. Alright. These writers are joined by a star-studded array of artists, including Lee Weeks, Batman Daredevil; Kevin Maguire, Justice League International, World's Finest; Jerry Ordway, Adventures of Superman, The Power of Shazam; Carl Mostert, Batman Urban Legends, Deceased, Unkillable; Juan Ferreira, um, Green Lantern and Gotham by Midnight; um, Anthony Marquis, Batman the Audio Adventures; Pablo M. Collar, Are You Afraid of Darkseid? Dylan Ortega, DC Pride, Tim Drake Special; Max Dunbar, Batman Beyond Neo Year; and Hayden Sherman, Batman Urban Legends; Jim Chung, Justice League. Provides a wraparound cover for the book featuring all of Lee's heroes side by side, while Steve Beach, Riley Rosmo, Jason Howard, Kelly Jones, Ariel Colon, Kyle Hotz, Christian Ward, Clayton Henry, Jorge Corona, Belen Ortega, Dan Panosian, and Cully Hamner, 1 in 25 ratio, by variant covers. What was Just Imagine? While he was widely regarded as one of the major minds behind the Marvel Universe, Lee stepped away from his regular duties at the House of Ideas in the 90s to embark upon new endeavors. One of these was working with DC on a series of one-shots that gave Lee a unique opportunity to play in the sandbox of Marvel's greatest competitor. Lee's character reinvention featured a black pro wrestling Batman 20 years before Jace Fox hit the streets as the Batman of New York, a Superman who was a member of the Kryptonian police force. Lee's Wonder Woman was a Peruvian activist with a magical Incan staff. His Green Lantern was a professor blessed with mystical abilities after searching for the legendary tree Yggdrasil. And his Flash was a woman injected with hummingbird DNA. Lee's version of Catwoman, while resembling her normal counterpart slightly more than the other Just Imagine characters, had cat-like superpowers, while his Shazam was an Interpol agent capable of transforming into a demon, and his Sandman was an astronaut who entered a dream world. Okay. In a clever ode to DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths, Lee's DC characters were eventually united in their very own crossover, which saw them fighting a cosmic being named Crisis. They would appear years after their debut in 2015's Multiversity, a series written by Grant Morrison, which explored the DC universe and gave Lee's world official designation, Earth 6. Tales from Earth 6, a celebration of Stan Lee, goes on sale December 27th, one day before what would have become Stan Lee's 100th birthday. So there we go with that one. I think two more stories here and then we're done with articles. Exclusive. Guns Akimbo director Jason Howden announces Deathgasm sequel series. CBR can exclusively reveal Guns Akimbo director Jason Howden is returning to Deathgasm, a film he made in 2015 with a new sequel series. Article by Brennan Schwer, published 12 hours ago. Guns Akimbo director Jason Lee Howden is returning to Deathgasm, a film he wrote and directed in 2015 with a new sequel comic series. Originally debuting in 2015 South by Southwest Festival, Howden's Deathgasm film tells the story of two teenagers who decide to delve into black magic and mistakenly summon a demon known as the Blind One. The new Deathgasm series, which is co-written by Howden and Pete Bune, and features art by Industries La Manicana, is published by Opus Comics, follows the events of the film, and brings fans back for more monsters and more. The synopsis reads, Deathgasm has reformed and gone on tour to take out every damn demon they can. But will the band survive the out-of-this-world terror of the Pajoro Food and Music Festival? That's the question behind this new 4-issue miniseries, unquote. Howden previously worked the publisher on Monsters of Metal with co-creator and Opus Comics founder Lexi Leon. Quote, working with Lexi and the team has been fantastic, unquote, Howden said of Deathgasm. Quote, they are the masters of mixing heavy metal with horror and creating mind-blowing stories. For established music acts while being true to their brands. It's refreshing to work with a team who are like-minded fanatics of metal and horror subcultures and don't want to water it down. They are dedicated to producing entertainment that feels genuine to hardcore fans and is a great introduction to the genres for wider audiences. Leon added, quote, having Jason join Opus Comics lineup was a no-brainer. His style was a natural fit with ours, which led to Monsters of Metal and this eventual Deathgasm sequel comic, unquote. Howden is known for directing 2019 Guns Akimbo, which stars Daniel Radcliffe and Samara Weaving. He also worked in the visual effects department for films such as Lord of the Rings, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, Prometheus, Man of Steel, The Wolverine, War for the Planets of the Apes, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, um, Elvis, and more. Howden is currently attached to co-write and direct Monsters of Metal feature film adaptation, which does not yet have a release date. Opus Comics Monsters of Metal, co-written by Howden and Leon, with art by Luis Guaragna and cover by Ryan Christensen, releases on October 19th. Deathgasm #1 features a cardstock cover by Russell Fox and releases in mid-December from Opus Comics. There we go with that one. Now we'll get to the one last article here of the night. Exclusive. Cullen Bunn launches new apocalyptic horror series. Other titles. CBR can exclusively reveal Cullen Bunn's production company, Hustle and Heart Films, is working with Source Point Press for 3 new comics projects. Article by Brian Schwer, published 12 hours ago. CBR can exclusively reveal Cullen Bunn's Hustle and Heart Films, a production company he founded with writer Heath Amodio, um, is collaborating with Source Point Press on 3 brand new comics projects. Nightwalkers is a new horror series written by Bunn, with inks by Joe Ricardo, colors by Colin Johnson, and letters by Justin Birch. Inspired by The Nightwalkers, short story by Kara Devlin, produced in collaboration with Angus McClune and Vertigo Entertainment. The synopsis for Nightwalkers reads, quote, Saren is an addict in recovery at a rehabilitation center, secluded in the mountains, completely isolated from the outside world. When Saren and the other patients wake to find themselves locked inside and abandoned by center staff, they must decide whether to wait or break out. The decision is made for them when a bloodthirsty monster enters the center and begins to tear through them to satiate its lust for blood. Well, Cullen and I were looking for the right home for all of these projects, and Source Point has been great to collaborate with from day one, unquote, Amodio said. Quote, while I might be biased, it's not hyperbole when I say Nightwalkers is one of Cullen's best horror stories. We're very excited about it, unquote. Managing editor Cameron Kirkow added, quote, Cullen and the whole team behind Nightwalkers or horror masters, and they've been firing on all cylinders to put out the most brutal, bloody, and brilliant horror comic I've seen in years. Nightwalkers is debuting at New York Comic Con 2022 with an exclusive limited edition Ashcan, which features cover art by Sajad Shah, limited to 100 copies and signed by Bun. The Ashcan covers um, tributes to um, classic house of Secret 92. Second Heart and Hustle and Heart Films and Source Point Press collaboration is the new action and science fiction project called Copycat, with a story by Bun and Amodio. The series will come in 2023. Third, still unannounced title is a fantasy adventure project currently in development that will release in 2023. Further details on the two latter projects will be released at a later date. Quote, the last few months working with Source Point has been amazing, Bunn said, unquote. Quote, their team has been engaged, excited, and creative when it comes to bringing these books to life. They've been real partners in the creative process. Now the real fun begins because I can't wait for readers to discover these stories. Nightwalkers #1, released in January 2023 from the Source Point Press. Okay, so we're done with that. So at least through the article portion of the night here. Let me just. Anyways, so now we still have, of course, the wrestling wrap up to do a little bit here, and then so we still have a few more minutes here of content. All right. All right. So, anyways, so now we'll get through the wrestling news a bit here. So, first off, in WWE news, so apparently they're going to be having some new belt designs that should be coming along pretty soon here. Be seeing them over the next few weeks, as of course Triple H is continuing, to put his mark again on WWE as a whole. He's also, of course, bringing back the old logo with a modified look of NXT. So that's a lot of what's going on. And a rumored match for Crown Jewel has been coming out. Maybe a rematch between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. That may come to fruition at Crown Jewel. We'll have to wait and see. Again, obviously not much to talk about with WWE right now. Because we're still, Crown Jewel, I think, is the next big event. And then, of course, tomorrow night is SmackDown. We'll probably more on Monday, as we hear what happens over the weekend and stuff like that. But there is quite a bit of stuff to talk about with AEW. Got some more news on the fallout from the All Out media scrum. as a number of suspensions have been lifted. As many of you know, as I've reported earlier, a number of talent and staff had been suspended due to the altercation that had happened. Now, I guess they did have gotten somewhere with the investigation because some of the people who were initially suspended have now had their suspensions lifted, as most notably, of course, Brandon Cutler, Kenny Omega, and Christopher Daniels is now reinstated as well. Many of these, and Pat Buck and the other producers, many of these people who were suspended that they're now that are now having their suspension lifted were involved in breaking up the fight. Those who were breaking up the fight have, I guess, have had their suspension lifted. Whereas those who were actually directly involved with the fight, with the altercation rather, they're still on suspension. So CM Punk is still on suspension. The Young Bucks is still on suspension. Michael Nakazawa is still on suspension. As far as you know, those are the ones who are still. Kenny Omega, Brandon Cutler, Christopher Daniels, and Pat Buck have all had their suspensions lifted. So we'll have to wait and see. And in further news in terms of the fallout, of course, next Wednesday will be the Dynamite episode coming from Buckeye Stadium in New York, the Grand Slam event. Signed for that, of course, in the main event, you're going to see the finals of the tournament to crown a new AEW World Champion. And as we saw last night on Dynamite, uh, Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley advanced to the finals. Now, I think it was pretty much a foregone conclusion in most people's eyes that Moxley was going to advance. Sammy, maybe somebody who will be there one day, not there yet. Not there yet. He has great potential, but he's just not there yet. And the other match, I know a lot of people say could have gone either way, but I kind of felt like Bryan was likely to win it for a couple reasons here. One was, of course, Jericho had just beaten him, so this would have been obviously the great kind of comeback match. But also, one of the things that I know some commentators have talked about, for those on WrestleMania, where they were talking about the possibility of going into, as they move forward from possibly CM Punk. One of the things that has been talked about is maybe putting the AEW World Title on Bryan Danielson, who has yet to win an AEW World Title, by the way. Jon Moxley is was the first 2-time champion. Chris Jericho is a former AEW World Champion, among their many other world heavyweight titles they've held. So this match Wednesday is going to be interesting because you got the two members of the Blackpool Combat Club, named after, of course, William Regal's hometown. They're going to have Jon Moxley looking to become the first 3-time AEW World Heavyweight Champion. You're going to also have Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson going for his first AEW World. Now, based on what I've seen, and some of the news stories and stuff like that, from the looks of it, looks like they're going to probably put the title on Moxley. That's just my speculation based on what I'm seeing, because I think what they're trying to do is set up a thing between Moxley and MJF. MJF has a casino chip, and to revisit their earlier feud over the title when Moxley had won it the first time. So we'll just have to wait and see how that all pans out, though. Um, Other matches for next week, of course, other title matches include um, Swerve and Our Glory will be defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Acclaim. There's many people talking about the possibility that they may decide to put the tag titles on the Acclaim, as they have become one of the more popular. They probably become one of the most popular teams in AEW, rivaling that of FTR. Um, in a four-way match to have Tony Storm defending the AEW Interim Women's World Championship against Athena, Dr. Britt Baker, and Indeed, and pretty much what many are calling a just a weak booking in that they're in essence seems like they're booking almost the same exact angle they booked for All Out, but but they're being real screwy with the booking here, as they actually had Tony Storm get pinned, making her look weak, even though it was kind of a screw job finish, as it were. Was a screw job finish with basically Dr. Britt Baker utilizing the chair to help set up for the pin by Serena Deeb. Now the thing is too, from what I've seen too, if they were intending to put a title on Serena Deeb, because Serena has had a very good record of late. She's been one of the more dominant female wrestlers. They wanted to put a title on her, but maybe they should have put the Ring of Honor title on her instead of having Mercedes Martinez hold on to the title. As you know, right now it would seem Mercedes Martinez is out with an undisclosed injury. And that would have probably worked out better for them, have Serena Deeb hold on to it. But then again, a lot of people have been very critical with Tony Khan's booking of the women's division to begin with. And initially, Hikaru Shida was supposed to be part of the tag team match last night. And I guess they were setting it up to where she was also going to be part of this four-way match as well. But we still don't know what's going on with that, why she was taken out of the match. They taped a segment, her being taken out, I guess last week, or when they were taping the AEW Dark segment. So it was revealed on last night Dark that she was taken out of the match. Athena was replacing her. And a lot of people are saying that that's kind of suspect too, because Athena just came off of a loss to Jade Cargill, in which she was made to look pretty bad by losing in a matter of just a handful of seconds. So to then go from her losing in relatively quick fashion to the secondary champion in the division, TBS champion in Jade Cargill. Yes, I know she's undefeated, but still the TBS championship is the secondary women's title. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not the women's world title, but it's the secondary title. So in that division, and having her put right into a world title match here, world title situation. Now, granted, you've had a lot of people with injuries too. You've had recently Chris Statlander come down with a I think an MCL injury. I think it's an MCL. Layla Hirsch is still on the show with her leg injury. And then you have like Penelope Ford who just came back from injury. So, and we don't know what's going on with Karashida, why she was taken out of the match. So, a lot of things going on right now. And then, of course, Pac is set to defend the Atlantic title against Orange Cassidy. There's some history there. So that's all happening next Wednesday on Grand Slam. We still are waiting on more news on the fallout from All Out. As I said earlier, the some of the suspensions have been lifted. So with that now, why don't we go ahead and start wrapping up here? We're just at 2 hour 20 mark here. So we had quite a long night tonight. But we'll finish it off here with this day in each history. Today being Thursday, September 15th, 2022. Let's go ahead and take a look back at this day in each history. History! Okay, so first off, we're going to head back 80 years ago today. As on this day, 80 years ago today, as soon as I bring it up, of course, the 15th issue of Sparkler Comics from United Features went on sale on this date back in 1942. 80 years ago today, the 15th issue of Sparkler Comics from United Features went on sale on this date for 10 cents. It was 64 pages, as many of the characters were. You had Nancy, it looks like there. You had maybe Phil Fumble. Had a few characters there I could recognize. So, anyways, on this date back in 1942, the 15th issue of Sparkler Comics went on sale on this date. So, moving on to our next piece of niche history here. Bit more of a kind of a sadder note. As on this date, 25 years ago today, back in 1997, Bulldog Brower, born Richard Gland, would pass away at the age of 63. Bulldog Brower was, Dick Bulldog Brower, the name would apply, was a star throughout the was a star throughout Ohio, Michigan, Ontario, Canada, and in New York. He did spend some time in the WWF, but mostly was known for two reigns as NWF North American Heavyweight Champion, as well as being the five-time holder of the Toronto version of the NWA International Tag Team Championship, the title that was, of course, defended in Maple Leaf Wrestling. On this date, 25 years ago today, Bulldog Brower was passed away at the age of 63. So with that, moving on to the next piece of meat here, as we go back 15 years ago today, and on this date, 15 years ago today, debuting on CBS was the SD Entertainment American Greetings series Care Bears Adventures in Care Lot. So on this date, back in 2007, years ago today, Care Bears Adventures in Care Lot premiered on CBS. Yes, Saturday morning, part of their morning lineup. So with that, we have one more piece of meat to do. As season 7 was just so nice, we're gonna hit it twice. As on this date, also 2007, over in Japan, Toei Animation's Clannad film. Clannad film from Toei Animation premiered on this date back in 2007. There we go with that. So I thank everybody for being here tonight. Granted, I know it was just me and my shadow for the majority of the night, but we did have some people drop in, and I do appreciate that earlier. So, anyways, don't forget tomorrow night Rick Piper will be on with me as we continue our our historical comic retrospect. As we look to books that went on sale in May of 1939. Tomorrow night, focusing in on Dell Comics and in particular Popular Comics Volume 1, Number 40. Hope to see everybody there. So, bye!